The broadcast is now starting. Attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, I'm Pearl Jean Maeve, and I would like to welcome everyone to today's webinar. Webinars are brought to you as a membership benefit of Heritage Ohio. Heritage Ohio's mission is to help people to save the places that matter, build community, and live better. Today we will have a presentation on community development funding opportunities to the USDA. We will be taking questions at the end of the presentation. If you have a question, please type it into the question box at any time. Most issues with the webinar software will be solved if you close the program and restart it with the link that was sent to you. Our presenters today are Community Development Specialist Vince Palmer, Rural Housing Program Director Gerald Arnott, and Business Program Specialist Cindy Musil of the USDA. And with that, I'll turn it over to them.
First of all, I want to thank Heritage Ohio for this opportunity to discuss rural development programs to their members. We typically have not used webinars as a forum to reach out to prospective clients in the past, but welcome the opportunity to do so. It gives us the ability to reach out to many more folks than we normally could. My name is Vince Palmer, and I am a Community Development Specialist out of Columbus, Ohio. I have been at the agency for over 30 years, and my background has been in the mortgage side, single-family housing. About a year ago, I took a position in the community development field. So we're going to go over a lot of the programs that we have. Since we do not know our audience's background or knowledge of rural development programs, we will keep it fairly basic. If you would like more detailed presentation information at a later date, we can do that. At the end of our presentation, we will open it up for question and answers. First of all, a little history about rural development, its predecessor, Farmers Home Administration. Farmers Home Administration is a former U.S. government agency. It was established in August of 1946 to replace the Farm Security Administration. It superseded the Resettlement Act during the Great Depression and operated until 2006. FMHA's mission and programs involved extending credit for agriculture and rural development. Direct and guaranteed credit went to individual farmers, low-income families, and seniors in rural areas. Between 1947 and 1994, FMHA expanded the availability of credit and the size of its loans. In later years, FMHA extended credit to individuals and communities for non-farm use. In 1994, the U.S. Department of Agriculture was reorganized and the functions of FMHA were transferred to the Farm Service Agency. In 2006, the FMHA was fully terminated. Its housing and community programs were transferred to the newly formed USDA Rural Development. Therefore, we've been around a lot of years. We have a lot of expertise and knowledge of financing in rural areas. Welcome to USDA Rural Development 2016. We are committed to helping improve the economy and quality of life of rural America. Through our programs, we help rural America in many ways. We offer loans, grants, loan guarantees to support essential services such as housing, economic development, health care, first response services and equipment, water, electric, and communication infrastructure. We promote economic development by supporting loans to businesses through banks, credit unions, community-managed lending pools. We offer technical assistance and information to help agricultural producers and cooperatives get started and improve the effectiveness of their operations. We provide technical assistance to help communities undertake community empowerment programs. We help rural residents buy or rent safe, affordable housing and make health and safety repairs to their homes. USDA Rural Development has a $212 billion portfolio, that's with a B. We will administer $38 billion in loan guarantees and grants through our programs in the current fiscal year. So we have a very large footprint in the rural area. In Ohio, we provided over $781 million in assistance to small towns, rural areas in fiscal year 2015. None of that money went to major urban areas of Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, Dayton, Akron, Toledo, and so on. Instead, it went to our mission area of small towns and communities that typically have the same problems as the metropolitan areas, but often find financial assistance unavailable, or if it is available, it is difficult to obtain for a variety of reasons. We have several initiatives that we are working under currently. The Community Economic Development, or CED initiative, encourages and supports regional rural economic development. Our strategy is to build capacity, provide USDA Rural Development community development initiatives, encourages and supports regional and rural economic development. Our strategy is to build capacity and provide technical assistance in high poverty communities to help us residents get access to financial, social, and environmental capital. Our goal is to work with the communities, have them develop a plan of what their needs are best and how best to address those needs. Recently, we became a strike force initiative. This is a growing economy by investing in rural communities and increasing opportunities for families is key to our nation's future. In 2010, Secretary Vilsack established the USDA Strike Force Initiative for Rural Growth and Opportunity to address the specific challenges associated with rural poverty. Since then, strike force teams have collaborated with more than 500 community partners and public entities across 21 states to bring targeted assistance to rural communities experiencing chronic poverty. Strike Force is a new initiative to Ohio, just recently announced, to 11 counties. 10 of them are primarily in Appalachia areas. Strike Force utilizes all of USDA, including Rural Development, Farm Service Agency, Natural Resources and Conservation Service, Food Nutrition Service, the Forest Service, etc., to listen to what the community needs are and provide financial resources of all USDA, not just one agency. Currently, we're in the process of listening to what the community's needs are. Based on what those needs are, we will develop an action plan and hopefully participate in their funding of those needs. We have several other initiatives that overall that the agency has, primarily turning anything that's in the rural areas into energy, whether that be solar, wind, hydro, or bio, and Cindy's going to talk about those in a little bit. The other one is the whole food arena, in which we work with the food chain to add value to what the farmer grows all the way to the grocery store shelf. And again, Cindy's going to talk about that a little bit later. A couple cases that I wanted to highlight. Tenino, Washington. Before 2008, Tenino, Washington septic system was failing and contaminating the environment. The small community needed to take on the costly effort to upgrade its facilities to protect the local environment and promote future economic growth. With funding from USDA, Tenino received its first wastewater treatment plant and collection facilities. This new infrastructure supports growth in the existing urban growth boundary and enhances Tenino's economic competitiveness to prospective residents and businesses. A little closer to home, we have Athens, Ohio. Athens has become a major magnet for locally produced food. USDA funding partners have worked with several nonprofit organizations to assist in this initiative. USDA financing of farmers markets, kitchen incubators, and distribution and storage facilities has allowed Athens, Ohio area to become a regional food center. It enables the agricultural community to get locally grown food, add value by processing and distributing, and sell to major retailers. USDA Rural Development is divided into 3 agencies with unique missions to bring prosperity and opportunity to the rural areas. First of all, we have Rural Housing Service. USDA Rural Housing Service offers a variety of programs to build or improve housing and essential community facilities in rural areas. We offer loans, grants, loan guarantees for single, multifamily housing, child care centers, fire, police station, hospitals, libraries, nursing homes, schools, first responder vehicles and equipment, housing for farm laborers, and much more. We also provide technical assistance loans and grants in partnership with nonprofit organizations, Indian tribes, state and federal government agencies, and local communities. And we and our partners are working together to ensure that rural America continues to be a great place to live, work, and raise a family. Next, we have the Rural Utilities Service. Administers programs that provide much needed infrastructure or infrastructure improvements to rural communities. These include water and waste treatment, electric power, and telecommunication services. All these services play a critical role in helping to expand economic opportunities and to improve the quality of life for rural residents. Utilities programs connect rural residents to the global economy by increasing access to broadband and 21st century telecommunication services, funding sustainable renewable energy development conservation, financing reliable and affordable electric systems, working to integrate electric smart grid technologies, and developing reliable and affordable rural water and wastewater systems. Lastly, we have the Rural Business and Cooperative Service. It offers programs to support business development and job training opportunities for rural residents. Our programs help provide the capital, technical support, educational opportunities, and entrepreneurial skills that can help rural residents start and grow businesses or access jobs in agricultural markets and in a bio-based economy. USDA and our public services and private partners are connecting rural residents to the global economy by supporting business growth and development, facilitating sustainable renewable energy development, developing regional food systems, and generating and retaining jobs through the recreation and natural resource restoration, conservation, and management. We have a network of, we have our national office, 54 state and territorial offices, and over 400 local offices throughout the United States. Rural Development utilizes the network of offices and trained staff to provide hands-on service to our partners at the lowest level possible. We can meet directly with rural communities, businesses, and applicants to determine the type of assistance that is needed and the best way to deliver that assistance. There are times when USDA Rural Development does not have a program that meets the needs, even though we do have 47 programs. Or in addition to our assistance, other sources of funding is needed to put the deal together. We all know obtaining financial help is not getting easier, and more often it is becoming exceedingly difficult. Because we have a local presence in the community through our network of offices, our trained staff has often worked with other federal, state, local agencies, and we can provide the customer several options. With that, we want to turn it over to Cindy, and she's going to talk more about the business and cooperative programs.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cindy Mushel, and I'm a business program specialist with Rural Development, and I am going to be talking about the programs that I work with, which is our business programs. We have 4 area offices throughout the state, but the business programs are conducted through the state office. So our service area is the entire state. If you need information about any of these programs, you're going to contact the state office. The first program I'm going to talk about is our B&I Guaranteed Loan Program. We work with lenders with this program. We guarantee the loan that the lender makes to the borrower. Some applicants include sole proprietors, cooperatives, corporations, or limited liability companies. They can be for-profit or for not-for-profit. Eligible businesses include manufacturing, wholesaling, retailing, or service-oriented. Must provide employment or improve economic or environmental climate. Some examples of eligible loan purposes and some loans that we have done are real estate, machinery and equipment, term working capital, business acquisitions, tourism and recreation, hotels and motels, and refinancing. One thing we cannot do with this loan program are lines of credit. With this, there are some limits and some fees. Our minimum loan is $400,000. If it's between $400,000 and up to $5 million, we can guarantee 80% of the loan. If it's between $5 and $10 million, it's 70%. If it's above $10 million, we can actually go up to $25 million, but that would be a 60% guarantee. Our average loans are around $3 million. So this program is for larger projects. And there's a one-time guarantee fee of 3% and then an annual 0.5%. A different program that we offer, and we only have 2 programs where we offer grant money for profit businesses. One of them is the Value-Added Producers Grant to help agricultural producers generate new products, create and expand marketing opportunities, and increase producer income. There's 2 different sides to the grant that you can apply for. There's planning and working capital. If you are applying for planning, you can apply up to $100,000. If you are applying for working capital, you can apply up to $300,000. Working capital is tricky with this grant because it has a definition that most people don't think for working capital. You can't use this grant for equipment, so you need to think of it as soft costs. If you are using it, if you are a producer of strawberries and you're turning those strawberries into jam, you could use working capital to buy jars for it, but you wouldn't be able to use it to buy the actual equipment that would help you jar the jam. The percentage of grant to match is 50%. So whatever you apply for in grant money, you must have that in match. But luckily, in-kind can count towards your matching with this grant. The next program is actually a direct loan that we give to nonprofits or public entities, and it's to create a revolving loan fund. It's called our Intermediary Lending Program. This program was created to alleviate poverty and increase economic activity and employment in rural communities. This program is distributed at the national level, so we accept applications year-round and they compete on a quarterly basis. When you receive the loan, you cannot give loan money to an ultimate recipient for more than $1 million. We also encourage you to work in partnership with other private and public organizations to identify complementary resources. So basically gap financing. Another program that we have is the Rural Business Development Grant. And this program is 100% grant money. It's competitive because we receive a state allocation for it, and since it is 100% grant money, a lot of people apply for it. So it's a competitive grant, and it targets technical assistance and training leading to the development or expansion of small emerging private businesses. The definition that we use for small emerging private businesses is that you have to have fewer than 50 employees and less than $1 million in gross revenue. Now, that being said, for the small and emerging business, that isn't for the entity that applies for this grant, it would be for the businesses that the grant would be assisting. So if there is a city that is applying for the grant and they have 75 employees, that's okay, because the grant money is going to be used to help the small and emerging businesses that would have under 50 employees. Another program is our Rural Micro Entrepreneur Assistance Program. And this is kind of a combination of the Intermediary Lending Program and the Rural Business Development Grant, and that on one side you can receive monies for a revolving loan fund, and on the other side you can receive a grant for technical assistance. You can also apply for just a technical assistance grant, but if you do the loan grant combo, depending on the size of your revolving loan fund portfolio, you will receive an annual grant to assist with technical assistance to your recipients. Our next program is our Rural Energy for America program, and this has energy efficiency and renewable energy. Some projects that we have assisted with this program are biomass, anaerobic digesters, bioplastics, geothermal, hydrogen production, solar, wind, etc. In the past 10 years, REAP, which is Rural Energy for America program, has helped more than 13,000 businesses install renewable energy systems. Since 2008, the amount of renewable energy, wind, solar, geothermal sources produced in the U.S. has nearly doubled, thanks in part to this program. For the projects, for renewable energy, it must be for the purchase of renewable energy or the purchase of energy efficiency. The commodity must be commercially available and replaceable technology. So for example, if you are doing an energy efficiency system and it's still on the test market, we wouldn't be able to do that because it does have to be commercially available. It must have technical merit and it must be located in a rural area. For all of the business programs, we define our rural area as a population of 50,000 people or less, and that's across all business programs. There is the Rural Utilities Service, and that is a national program, but they also work with energy, doing wind, solar, biomass, geothermal, hydro, and energy efficiency. With this program, technology also must be commercially available and must provide for sale or resale to rural energy consumers. So eligible energy efficiency investments and activities would be building weatherization, HVAC upgrades, ground source heat pumps, lighting, small-scale renewable generation, and on-bill payments. The last program I'm going to discuss is our local foods program. We don't have specific monies, a specific grant program, a specific loan program for this, but we try to work with the programs that we already have to help with local foods. If you have the question of why local and regional food, it can help jobs, education and health in schools, increase accessibility to healthy food, help beginner farmers, and help have the wealth stay in your region. The main focus that rural development has, specifically our business programs with the regional food, is infrastructure, and that includes aggregating, processing, distributing, and marketing. And on the next slide, it shows all of USDA's agencies and their goal with local foods. As you can see, with rural development is local food infrastructure and regional food hubs. And with that, I appreciate everybody for being on this webinar, and I'm going to pass it over to Gerald.
Good afternoon. I'm Gerald Arnott, Director for the Housing Programs in Ohio for Rural Development, I've been with the agency for over 30 years and in the current capacity as the director of the program for a little over the last 20 years. You'll see from the slide that we do have several housing programs that we offer. We'll cover part of these today with an overview and a little less detail on others. We want to discuss home ownership, home repair, and rental housing opportunities. The site development is available for nonprofits to borrow money to purchase and develop sites for low-income rental or home ownership and repay the loans as the lots are sold. The Housing Preservation Grant is open for nonprofits and local government entities for use in home repair. It's a fairly small pot of money and very competitive. If there are questions on any of the programs that we do not cover during the presentation, we'll be happy to try to answer those questions at the end, or we'd be happy to try to answer any phone calls that someone would have at a later date. You'll see that in 2015, we provided over $600 million in financing in Ohio and assisted over 5,600 families through home ownership, home repair, and rental housing. The website at the bottom is great in determining the income eligibility for home ownership and also for determining if a site is an eligible rural area. The rural area designation is the same for all of our housing programs, but does differ from some of the other programs that rural development offers. If you forget the web address at the bottom of the page, you can go to our main web page at rd.usda.gov and click on Check Eligibility, and it will bring you directly to this page. Let's start talking first with our direct homeownership program. Our employees do the processing, the underwriting, and the government provides the direct financing to fund these loans. If you recall from the map that was provided early in the presentation, there are 4 offices throughout the state. Those offices do work on that program, and the home buyers work directly with those employees in those offices to process their loan. The program is for those who cannot obtain financing by other means. We can loan up to 100% of the market value of the property, so there is no down payment required. We can also provide a subsidy to the interest rate to help with the affordability. The current promissory note rate is fixed at 3.25% as of today, but the actual amount paid could be less depending on the applicant's income. The subsidy paid by the government is subject, at least in part, to being recaptured upon the sale of the property. Basically, we share in equity with the homeowner at that time. Just to give an example of how this could work, because we can subsidize that interest rate down to as low as a 1% interest rate, someone purchasing a $100,000 home with $21,000 of family income, at the note rate payment, the payment would be over $400 per month. If we were able to subsidize the loan payment down to the 1% interest rate, it would bring it down to less than a $300 per month payment. So it makes it very much affordable for those homeowners. We also offer a guaranteed homeownership program similar to what FHA offers, although we are exclusively in the rural area. This is our largest housing program. It allows for those with a higher income up to what we call a moderate income limit, or 115% of the area median income. In this program, the lender that is providing the loan is our client, and the home buyer works directly with the lender for their loan. Again, under this program, there is no down payment required. The loans are at a 30-year fixed interest rate as negotiated with the lender and the buyer. We can also combine with other financing sources such as assistance programs, mortgage credit assistance, buy down, etc. Over 5,000 loans were made in Ohio last year through this program. And due to the large volume, we have in the past been a little backlog at times, but with the current staffing, we're able to turn around the lender's request within 1 or 2 business days. The process is the approved lender processes the loan, does the underwriting, submits that package to our agency, and those are all processed in our Columbus office, and then we determine whether we can issue a guarantee on that loan, basically providing an insurance policy in case there is a later default or loss on that loan. Home repair funding we can also offer for current homeowners at a very low income, meaning that they are at or below 3% of the area median income, either a grant or a loan, but of course the funds are very limited. We also limit those to a lifetime maximum of $7,500 for a grant. Also, the applicant must be at least 62 years of age or older, and the grant funds can only be used for health and safety items, and also only if you could not afford a loan. The loans can be made for up to $20,000 and can be used for most any type of improvement, and all of those are written at a 1% fixed interest rate, and the loan terms can be up to 20 years. So they are very, very affordable. With the repair program, we do lots of roofs, furnaces, accessibility items. We also partner with a lot of other nonprofit agencies. So often they are able to provide a certain program, such as maybe weatherization, and then maybe we can take care of the putting on a roof, replacing a furnace, or doing some other work maybe that they would not be able to. Moving on then to our rental housing, we also offer under the rental housing program a guaranteed loan similar to the home ownership guarantee, as the approved lender does the underwriting of the loan, and then we provide the loan guarantee to them. With the guarantee, the lender will typically allow a longer term and therefore be able to make the housing more affordable. And although not required, most of these loans are done in conjunction with the low-income housing tax credit program that is operated through the Ohio Housing Finance Agency. Nationally, about 1/2 of these loans are done as new construction, and the other half are typically done as trying to preserve existing affordable housing. Very often in conjunction with what we call our old Section 515 loan program, which is a direct loan from the government agency that we continue to hold a loan on the properties and have a rental subsidy that is also tied in with those. So in addition to the guarantee program, we are still trying to preserve that existing portfolio of housing that is out there. So sometimes the guaranteed loan program is used as a possibility of assisting with that. We also work with developers in trying to transfer and add additional funding to preserve the existing portfolio of housing that is out there. I want to point out that the agency is very easy to work with, very friendly to work with. We do have folks in our area offices that are able to come out and work directly with the homeowners, home buyers, to be able to assist them with the process. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of information about our housing programs, and again, we'll be glad to try to answer any questions at the end. With that, I'm going to turn the program back over to Vince to talk more about our community programs.
Thank you, Gerald. Last program I want to talk about is the Community Facilities Direct Loan and Grant Program. What does this program do? This program provides affordable funding to develop essential community facilities in rural areas. An essential community facility is defined as a facility that provides an essential service to the local community for the orderly development of community in primarily rural area and does not include private, commercial, or business undertakings. Where Cindy's program talked primarily to for-profit, this is going to be nonprofit or public bodies that are going to be the typical applicant. What is an eligible area? I think you're going to find that the agency has various definitions depending on the program. In the community program area, community facility area, rural areas include cities, village, township, and towns, including federally recognized tribal lands with no more than 20,000 residents, according to the latest U.S. Census data. How funds may be used. Funds can be used to purchase, construct, improve essential community facilities, purchase equipment, and pay related project expenses. Several examples of these include healthcare facilities such as hospital, medical clinics, dental clinics, nursing home or assisted living facilities, public facilities such as town hall, courthouses, airport hangars, and street improvements, community support services such as child care centers, community centers, fairgrounds, transitional housing, public safety service such as fire departments, police stations, prisons, police vehicles, fire trucks, and public works vehicles or equipment, educational services such as museums, libraries, and/or private schools, utility service such as telemedicine or distance learning equipment, local food systems such as community gardens, food pantries, community kitchens, food banks, food hubs, or greenhouses. We do a lot, as you can see, in the police and fire arena. Recently, we just approved our largest loan to date. We did a $90 million healthcare facility in north central Ohio. We offer low-interest loans, grants, and we can do a combination of both in addition to our loan guarantee program, which is similar to the program that Gerald and Cindy mentioned, where the federal government backs a loan that a commercial lender provides. What are the funding priorities? Priority point system is based on population of median household income. Small communities with a population of 5,500 or less. Low-income communities have a median household income below 80% of the state non-metropolitan median household income. Will score the highest in our system and most likely be able to obtain the funding. The terms of loan, for a direct loan, which there's plenty of adequate funding. Loan repayment terms may not be longer than the useful life of a facility. State statutes, the applicant's authority, or a maximum of 40 years, whichever is less. Typically for buildings, that is 30 years. For equipment, that is a 5 to 10 year loan. Interest rates are set by Rural Development, which is currently at 3.125%, and it could possibly be less depending on how the loan would score out, the population of the community, and the median household income. Once the loan is approved, the interest rate is fixed for the entire term of the loan as determined by the median household income of the service area and population of the community. There are no prepayment penalties. We also offer grants, which again is there is more demand than there is supply, so there is some limited funding for our grants. Applicants must be eligible for grant assistance, which is provided on a graduated scale, with smaller communities with the lowest median household income being eligible for projects with higher proportion of grant funds. Grant assistance is limited to the following project costs: maximum of 75% when the proposed project is located in a rural area and has a population of 5,000 or fewer. Median household income is below the higher of the poverty line, or 60% of the state non-metropolitan median household income. A maximum of grant of 55% when it is located in a rural community and has a population of 12,000 or less, and a median household income of the proposed service area is below the higher of the poverty line, or 70% of the state non-metropolitan household income. 35% max when located in a community of 20,000 or fewer, and the household income is 80% or less. And a maximum of 15% when a community is 20,000 or less, and the median household income is 90% of the state non-metropolitan. So you can see the higher the population and the higher the income, the less grant eligible the applicant becomes. There are several additional requirements in regards to this community facilities program. Applicants must have the legal authority to borrow, obtain security, repay loans, construct, operate, and maintain the must be unable to obtain finance for the project from their own resources and or through commercial credit at a reasonable rate and term. Facilities must serve rural areas where they will be located. Projects must demonstrate substantial community support. Environmental review must be acceptable. Last year we did $92.7 million in community facility financing. Next, we're going to move to water and waste this program. Give you a couple examples of projects we've done there. In Northwest Ohio, we did a water treatment and distribution center for a $4.8 million and a $1.9 million grant. In Southeast Ohio, we did a $24,000 search grant, which pays for the preliminary engineering and environmental report. What this program does is it funding for clean and reliable water systems, sanitary sewage disposal, sanitary solid waste disposal, stormwater drainage to households and businesses in eligible rural areas. Who may apply this program? Assist qualified applicants that are not otherwise able to obtain commercial credit on reasonable terms. Eligible applicants include most state and local government entities, private nonprofits, federally recognized as tribes. Eligible areas, again, we're going to have another definition of population. This program is limited to 10,000 or less. We offer long-term, low-interest rates. Again, the maximum rate is 3.125. Then we offer, depending on the community, go to 2.5, and then our lowest rate is 1.875. These are all fixed-rate loans, no prepayment penalty. The funds can be used for drinking water sourcing, treatment, storage, and distribution, sewer collection, transmission, treatment and disposal, solid waste collection, disposal, and closure, stormwater collection, transmission, and disposal. In some cases, funding may also be used for legal engineering fees, land acquisition, water land rights, permits, equipment, startup operations, maintenance, interest accrued during construction, purchase of existing facilities to improve service or prevent loss, other costs determined to be necessary for the completion of the project. With that, we've our future programs. Last year, again, we put out $781 million in financing in these three programs. I know we've covered a lot of material, and just would encourage any questions after we finish up here. My question to you is again, we put out $780 million. Did your community or county or town get their fair share? If it did not get its fair share of that $780 million via our 47 programs, we look forward to offering additional assistance. Thank you, and we look forward to your questions.
All right, we have a few questions already, but if you haven't typed in your question, do that now, and give us a few seconds between questions for them to decide who's going to answer it, but I'll go ahead and start. Can REAP be used to improve mixed-use buildings? Thinking of traditional downtown buildings, commercial, lower, often residential upper floors.
If the building is used for commercial use, you will be able to. Unfortunately, with the energy program, it is not for housing. So any type of housing we cannot do. The nice thing about the grant is that the one part that's energy efficiency, if you can show that you are saving energy, we can pretty much accept anything that you want to apply for. If that is windows, it's lighting, if it's refrigeration, if you can prove that you are saving money and energy, then we'll be able to do that.
All right, and then the second one, who are the eligible applicants for the business and cooperative grants? Can nonprofits apply?
For Rural Business Development Grant, the Intermediary Relending Program, and the Rural Entrepreneur Assistance Program, those are all for nonprofits, entities. For-profit businesses cannot receive those type of grants or direct loans.
All right. Can rural housing programs ownership for condos, home care, rental housing, housing preservation, multifamily housing, be used to rehabilitate upper floor residential units in downtowns?
It would be difficult to do that under our home ownership and home repairs. About the only way I could see that happening is if it was some type of a condo setup. If it is a rental type housing under our guarantee loan program, there might be a possibility, but again, there would have to be some type of a separation probably from the commercial part of it, either a separate ownership or at least the funding that we would be providing would go towards the housing portion of it only and not the commercial business. So it's not a perfect fit for it, so it would probably be difficult, but it just kind of depends on how things are structured.
Can the water waste loans be used to cover costs of addressing phosphorus runoff, sediment reduction, and any retrofits to WTPs necessary to deal with algae-related drinking water problems?
I'm not finding a quick match for our programs for that. We're more going to put in the infrastructure and everything, but let me see if I can research that question a little bit more and get back to Heritage Ohio with an answer to that.
And actually, I'll just put him directly in contact with the questioner for that. Do you work with county land banks?
We can. I think it's been fairly limited to date. We've had much involvement with that, but we would have the ability to work along with them. Our end user for someone that is purchasing a home is going to be the applicant homeowner, but if they have property that they are trying to turn over to a homeowner that's going to be the ultimate applicant, purchaser, owner of that property, we could definitely work with them along those lines.
47 programs, grants, loans are a lot to sort through. As a qualified community, nonprofit, and or city, what is the quickest way to see if a community project qualifies? Like community, we have numerous unfunded or partially funded projects.
I think the best way is, again, we are willing to travel to your community to meet with the mayor, the trustees, the county commissioners, the people that make the decisions and are asking the questions. We can come out there with, if you're just looking at one program, we can come out there with that, or if you want to talk about the community needs business development, the community needs rehab on their housing, and the community needs water and sewer or a police or fire station. We've been coming out with like a team of USDA Rural Development professionals to sit down and listen to what your needs are and tell you what some of the options are. And again, there's a lot of funding sources out there. We're just one of them, but we have a lot of programs to be able to help you. We'd be interested in listening to your needs and seeing if we could be a part of that solution.
For those mixed-use buildings, any chance we could combine some of your programs to address the full structure?
That becomes a little difficult, although we can sometimes combine some of our program funding. There is certain statutory requirements as far as what can or can't be done under each of the programs. So if there was some way to possibly split the actual deed structure of the building, where maybe one floor or one portion of it is under a certain ownership or separated out somehow, so that when we are taking a lien on that, that it's kind of split out, might be a possibility. We've been talking about this a little bit, and it just doesn't fit real well with our programs. Something that we'll continue to always take a look at if someone has a unique structure that they think that they would like to present, that we can take a look at and maybe work with you. We'd be glad to have that conversation conversation, but it's just not an easy fit right now with the way the programs are structured.
Is home repair funding available for rental houses?
The only repair funding that we have for rental is if that property is already in our portfolio as part of our rental program. For someone that just has maybe some individual homes that they're wanting to provide some assistance to do some repair work for a rental that they're taking care of, we do not have anything for that.
And can you use matching funds for USDA grants as leverage with other grant programs?
Matched funds are highly encouraged. I do have to add, though, that other federal funds do not count as match. If the state receives federal funds and it's going through the state, then it's no longer considered federal funds in our eyes, and you can use that. But if you're using direct federal funds, then we cannot count that as match. Otherwise, it's preferred that you do have matching funds, and when we are scoring the project, the more leverage you add to that grant, the more points you receive when we're scoring it.
All right, so it looks like we are out of questions. If you have any, I will keep an eye out for a few seconds. With that, I would like to thank our presenters for presenting. There's been a lot of information, really good information. And I would like to thank everybody for attending today's webinar. For our current and future events, you can always find them on our website at heritageohio.org. And everybody have a great day.